Hello everyone, TechnoDog here. This channel provides the information about the latest in the smartphone industry. Xiaomi finally has a Redmi Note line of smartphones with NFC and Snapdragon. Many people said if the Note 8 had NFC, it would be the best value for its money. Dreams come true. Here it is, the new Redmi Note 8T, and today we will compare it with the Redmi Note 8 Pro. These are the main competitors among Xiaomi models. Links to the stores where you can buy smartphones for a good price are in the description box below. If you like the video, press the like button. In order not to miss new reviews, subscribe to the TechnoDog channel. It seems that the Redmi Note 8T should not differ much from the Note 8, but there was an inexplicable metamorphosis in its appearance for me. The smartphone has become larger and heavier than its predecessor. As a result, it almost caught up with the Note 8 Pro in size and weight, while having a smaller screen. Accordingly, the Note 8 has increased bezel and chin. Apparently, the developers tried to catch up with the last iPhone in the width of the frames, but could not. The frames around the screen in the Note 8T still turned out to be smaller than those of the trendsetter. But seriously, the Note 8 Pro looks noticeably better than its competitor. Here I mean not only the iPhone. Thus, both smartphones turned out to be large and heavy. They weigh about 200 grams. Nevertheless, they are quite comfortable to hold in your hand because of the rounding of the edges of the case. On the bottom of the phones, there is a USB Type-C interface, a speaker, and a headphone jack. Above there is a noise-canceling microphone and an infrared port. On the right side is a volume key and power button. On the left, there is a slot for SIM cards and SD flash drives. Moreover, the Note 8T has a separate slot for memory, while the Note 8 Pro combines it with a second SIM card. And here is where the Note 8T has an advantage. The back panel of the smartphones is made of glass and has a different arrangement of cameras. The Note 8T has 4 cameras in the upper left corner. The fingerprint scanner is in its traditional place. The Note 8 Pro has 3 cameras lined up in the center, and the fingerprint sensor is located right next to them. Another camera and a flash formed a small parallel row. The cameras of both models protrude quite strongly above the surface of the panel. In the Note 8 Pro, the camera sticks out more. The Note 8 Pro case has additional protection against small splashes and dust. The Note 8T has no such protection. The Redmi Note 8T is available in white, blue, and gray. The coloring is not monophonic, but with a gradient. The Note 8 Pro is available in black, white, and green. In the latest color palette, the interesting gradient overflows are especially noticeable. The Redmi Note 8T looks pretty good, but the Note 8 Pro impresses with a more expensive device due to its narrow bezels and more original design. Both smartphones have high-resolution screens, 2340 by 1080 pixels with small drop-shaped cutouts. The display on the Redmi Note 8T is slightly smaller than the Note 8 Pro. It's 6.3 versus 6.53 inches. The displays are bright, with large viewing angles and an accurate color reproduction. The screens are protected by Gorilla Glass 5, and there is a good oleophobic coating. The displays are about the same in quality, but the Note 8 Pro has a larger screen considering the fact that the smartphone have the same dimensions. Both models have Android 9 and a proprietary MIUI 10 shell. And this is strange. Why isn't there a new MIUI 11 installed on the new Redmi Note 8T with a Qualcomm processor? Please write under this video your thoughts on this. The main Redmi Note 8T module is equipped with a 48-megapixel Sony IMX586 sensor. In the afternoon, it can take great photos with a wide dynamic range, precise focus, detail, and a color reproduction. At night, the quality drops, but still remains at a very good level. The main module of the Redmi Note 8 Pro allows you to take photos of even better quality. This is the first phone with a 64-megapixel camera in the world. Picture quality during the day is close to those obtained with flagships, which are several times more expensive. At night, the photo quality is a little behind, but still, the Note 8 Pro can be considered a good camera phone that has no competitors, given its cost. The remaining 3 modules are the same on both models. There is a wide-angle camera of 120 degrees by 8 megapixels, a macro camera by 2 megapixels, and a depth sensor also by 2 megapixels. Such an abundance of cameras is more a marketing ploy than a real empowerment. 2 megapixels is very small for a macro camera, which is reflected in the low quality of shooting with this sensor. The shooting with a wide-angle camera is not top quality, especially if the lighting is not perfect. As for the depth sensor, well, it is quite dubious. Both models shoot in 4K resolution with good quality. The advantages is an accurate and fast autofocus and excellent clarity. Among the disadvantage, the stabilization works poorly, especially in 4K mode. The front cameras of the Note 8T and the Note 8 Pro differ, the first by 20 and the second by 13 megapixels. Both models produce good detailed shots with natural color reproduction. The background blur works correctly. Both smartphones have cameras that are great for their price, but the camera of the Redmi Note 8 Pro is a little better. The Redmi Note 8T has a high-quality Qualcomm Snapdragon 665 processor with an Adreno 610 video accelerator. This is a fairly fast, energy-efficient processor made using 11nm technology. There are no problems with everyday use of the phone. Applications run quickly enough, the interface runs smoothly. Slowdowns appear only in heavy games with maximum settings. In the Redmi Note 8 Pro, there is a MediaTek Helio G90T processor. It caused a lot of controversy because of the presence of the Mali G76. The processor is positioned as a gaming processor, and indeed in Antutu, it shows a result around 300,000 points. Of course, the results of synthetic tests do not fully reflect the actual performance, but the impression of testing in games is also good. The only game where serious breaks have been identified so far is Tanks. And this is not the fault of the processor. The game is just not optimized for the Mali accelerator. Other popular games go well even with high settings. The processor heats up, but not much. This is aided by a liquid-cooled copper tube radiator. There is practically no throttling. Since games are optimized primarily for Qualcomm processors, problems with some of them may appear in the future. The Redmi Note 8T is designed for a more budget segment. In addition to the minimum configuration of 3 to 32 gigabytes, there are options with 4 gigabytes of RAM and 64 or 128 gigabytes of permanent. The minimum configuration of the Note 8 Pro is 6 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabytes of permanent memory. There is also a flagship version with 8 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of read-only memory. In both models, the memory can be expanded. Moreover, unlike the firmware, the SD card of the Note 8T is put into a separate slot, along with the better energy efficiency of the chipset. This is an advantage of the Redmi Note 8T. If we talk about performance, then due to a more powerful processor and more memory space, the Redmi Note 8 Pro is much better. The communication capabilities of the two models are similar. They are officially delivered to our markets, therefore, all the necessary frequencies are supported. There is also 4G on both SIM cards and dual-band Wi-Fi. The Note 8 Pro became the first model of the Redmi Note line with an NFC module, and the Note 8T was the second. I hope this good tradition continues. The Note 8 Pro supports the 5th Bluetooth, and the Note 8T supports only version 4.2. This is the only communication difference between these models. Both models have good autonomy. Despite the increased battery capacity of the Note 8 Pro, 4500 mAh instead of 4000, the actual battery life remains approximately the same. Apparently, the best energy efficiency of the Qualcomm chipset is affected here. The battery life of the Note 8 Pro decreases especially quickly when the processor works more while gaming, for example. The smartphones do not support wireless charging, but support accelerated charging. They come with a powerful 18-watt charger. As always, we did some research on the internet and read reviews on the Redmi Note 8T and the Redmi Note 8 Pro smartphones. Let's start with the negatives. The Redmi Note 8T. 1. It's big and heavy. 2. It has little difference from the Redmi Note 7. 3. It lags when playing heavy games at high settings. The Redmi Note 8 Pro. 1. Inconvenient location of the fingerprint scanner. 2. I do not like the MediaTek processor. 3. It gets heated very quickly in games. The Redmi Note 8T. 1. It has a nice bright screen. 2. It takes great photos. 3. There is an NFC module. 4. It charges fast. The Redmi Note 8 Pro. 1. It has a modern design. 2. It has a large screen, high resolution. 3. It has a powerful processor and lots of memory. 4. Its cameras are very good, both main and front. So, the Redmi Note 8 Pro was ahead of the Redmi Note 8T by most parameters, but it is not difficult to predict that the Note 8T will become a bestseller just like the Note 8 Pro. Firstly, many people don't like the MediaTek processors. Secondly, the Note 8T is cheaper. Thirdly, it is a really great budget smartphone with a large clear screen, a good camera, a capacious battery, and an NFC module. I remind you that links to the online stores where you can buy new Xiaomi models at good prices can be found in the description under this video. That's all for today. Like this video and subscribe to the TechnoDog channel, so you will always be the first to know about the release of new reviews. Write the smartphones you want us to compare for you next time in the comments section. Bye everyone!